Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Rabbits. Hope everyone out there is doing well. Today we are going to be looking at Season 2, Episode 2 of Rabbits, titled Play the Game, Find the Game. This is getting interesting. Even the manner of storytelling is going to be a little bit wonky, so let's do this.
Many years after Shaver's death, his art continues to be exhibited around the world. One show, in Los Angeles in 2010, featured a number of Shaver's so-called rock books that had been discovered in a storage unit in 2007. One of those rock books, a thin sliver of agate, was very interesting. There was an image in the center of the thin sliver of reddish-brown agate. It was some kind of a rabbit or a hare, its eyes wild, its ears twisting and bent. Written at the bottom of the stone in flowing text was a short sentence in Latin. When translated into English, the sentence reads, "The door is open."
There's that phrase again. It's kind of there. The storytelling, some of the way things are done for this part of the story, well, throughout the this particular season, it's gonna kind of question thunder out there. I don't know if you heard that on the mic, but this is interesting. Question where you're at in the story and whether or not you're repeating things. So.
From the Public Radio Alliance and Manno Beats Vale, you're listening to Rabbits. I'm Riley Bennett. Stay with us.
So you get kind of a brief intro here, or re-intro.
Separating biology and behavioral sciences from architecture is a fatal mistake.
I think I'd have to go back and re-listen to the part 1 of this to. So yeah, we'll continue. We'll march forward from here.
Our last episode ended with me standing in a pub, staring at a version of the circle that appeared to indicate that the 9th iteration of the game may not have ended with the first season of the Rabbits podcast. This wasn't all that surprising if what my producer Nick Silver told me last episode was true. It turns out Carly Parker may not have actually won the game at the end of Rabbits Season 1, but I had no way of knowing if any of that was factual or not. I decided that I needed to try and get a second opinion.
How did you find me again?
I found your name online.
I needed to see your face.
Yeah, tracking people online these days. It's actually a lot harder in some cases than media shows it to be. Keeping that in mind, it's not super difficult if you have the money And that's the key factor, so.
To make sure you're not lying.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah, I can see that now.
Okay, so do you have an opinion on this version of the circle? Remedy?
You gotta hate it when that happens.
The woman's voice you're hearing is Remedy Slim. Probably not her real name, but she won't confirm or deny that.
Might be her stripper name.
She's tall, with thick, dark, curly hair and piercing green eyes.
Most definitely a stripper.
I found her on an online forum dedicated to uncovering exclusive benchmarking event sites and tracking rare underground alternate reality games. For those of you new to this type of thing, benchmarking is the practice of finding geodetic survey markers, and alternate reality games are games that take place using the real world.
Yeah, geo tracking is kind of cool, though. That's a real thing. And yeah, the stripper comments were probably kind of rude, but they're funny. I didn't mean no offense or no shame to anybody, but you know. So let's continue on with it.
As a backdrop. On the forum, Remedy was considered the foremost authority on rabbits. She agreed to meet me at a restaurant close to her place. Did you get a chance to look at that photo of the circle that I sent you?
Okay, let's set a few ground rules first.
Oh, okay.
No photos, no video, and no location information.
All right.
Okay, let's go. What do you want to know?
Could you tell me, is that version of the circle genuine? Has the 9th iteration of rabbits ended?
Yes and no.
So that's a great big maybe.
What is that?
Yes, it's real. And no, 9 is still happening.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. You're working with PRA. Did you try and get in touch with Carly Parker?
Wait, how do you know that I've been in touch with them? I spoke with Nick yesterday.
Yeah, well, those kind of things don't escape my notice.
What kind of things?
Everything. Things.
Rabbits things.
Oh.
So what about it? Did you try Carly?
Well, I spoke with Nick and a few others at PRA, and they told me that after Rabbits ended, Carly wasn't interested in pursuing any other Rabbits-related stuff.
I hope that's true.
What do you mean?
You do know that people have died playing the game, right?
I mean, I've heard rumors, yes.
Rumors. Sure. But have
Rumors, if that's what you want to call the facts.
you seen the bodies? 9 is alive. The game is ongoing, but
But what?
something is wrong.
What's wrong?
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, that's never a good sign when the expert on something goes, something's wrong, and I have no idea what it is. Never a good sign.
So, what can you tell me
About what?
about the game?
You know, you're not supposed to talk about it, for one thing.
Sure, but I mean, you're here, right?
Okay. You've heard Carly Parker's Season 1 podcast, so you know all that stuff. How it's not actually called Rabbits, the rules, and the rest of it, right?
Right.
So let me tell you something new.
At that moment, Remedy looked around the restaurant and then came over and slipped into my side of the booth. With the two of us sitting there, now side by side rather than across from each other, she whispered something in my ear and then got up and left. She whispered, "The door is open." And then she started laughing.
I'm just fucking with you. Follow me.
You gotta hate it when that happens, you know?
So, I followed Remedy Slim out of the restaurant and into the street.
I hate that place.
So why choose it for our meeting?
It's safe and the Wi-Fi is mostly secure.
Mostly?
You don't know much, do you? Wi-Fi is a shit show, security-wise. It's kind of like our eyeballs.
What do you mean?
Do you have any idea how fragile our eyeballs really are?
No?
Great big, gooey, grapey jello balls is all they are, pretty much.
If you did, you'd never leave the house without safety goggles.
You're not wearing goggles.
Not today. We're here.
Where is here?
My place.
Remedy Slim led me across the street from the restaurant, through a glass door, and up a narrow set of worn gray wooden stairs. At the top of the stairs, we moved down a long hallway. At the end of the hall, Remedy unlocked a double-locked thick metal door, and we entered her apartment. Her living room was cluttered.
Yeah, college student, maybe. I don't know. Sounds like about every apartment I've ever lived in, though.
Decorated in what I think is best described as boho chic meets conspiracy nut eclectic. It was intense.
The 2020s.
Remedy grabbed a laptop from her long gray sofa, pushed a huge pile of printed pages aside, and the two of us sat down. She pulled something up on her computer and turned it around to show me. It was an image of an arcade game. It was Berserk. Hey, is that?
Berserk.
Yeah, it looks exactly like...
It's the same machine.
How did you get this? It was the Circle.
Yeah, Berserk was a cool game. If it's the game I'm thinking of, it was a cool game. I'd have to look it up.
The exact same version I'd seen earlier.
If this is real, it means that the 9th iteration of the game isn't over.
Do you think it's real?
It's real.
How do you know?
She knows.
Just going to have to trust me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I'd put the likelihood it's authentic at around 90%.
How does that work? Why is it just 90%?
I'd need another player to validate it to be 100% sure.
So why can't you just get one?
That's all I can tell you.
It's that whole you can't talk about rabbits.
At the moment, I'm afraid.
What?
You'll have to ask me something else.
Okay. So there's nothing you can tell me about the state of the game at the moment?
Nothing.
What do you mean?
You play, you never tell.
But you just told me the 9th version of the game hasn't ended.
Which simply means that you shouldn't believe everything you hear on a podcast.
So weren't you breaking your own rule telling me about the game earlier?
It's not my rule, it's a game. And no, I'm not breaking the rules. I'm just answering your initial question. I think it's game on. 9 is still running.
See, that's how you protect yourself. Semantics games work.
But that's all I'm going to say about that.
And then Remedy turned the tables. It turns out she had some questions of her own.
See, it makes you wonder if Remedy was kind of feeling her out to be a possible player.
Why are you asking me about the game?
I told you I'm doing an audio exploration of rabbits.
Carly already made a podcast about it.
Carly isn't the only person interested in this thing.
Carly Parker was looking for her missing friend, Yumiko. I get why she became obsessed. What's your deal? You're going to have to give me something.
Some people just obsess to obsess. It is what it is.
I told Remedy about what had happened to me in Korea, about playing the game called At Night that had led me, once again, to the game known as Rabbits. She nodded as I went through everything. She stopped me when I told her about what happened with Jenny Slater.
Wait, you're saying that you know Jenny Slater?
She just kind of told you that.
I knew her a little, yeah. She's missing.
She's not missing, she quit.
What?
Yeah, she moved to England after the incident.
Wait, you know Jenny?
Yes.
Wait, what incident? You mean the scene in the bar with the Platter song? Remedy?
Remedy.
It was just after that.
What happened?
Jenny Slater cut her own eyes out with a serrated grapefruit spoon.
Ow. Just thinking about that hurts.
Remedy asked me to turn off my voice recorder. I said I'd rather not, but she persisted. After I'd switched it off, I asked her if there was anything else she'd be willing to share about Jenny Slater or the game. She told me that was all she knew about Jenny. I thanked her for her time and left. For the moment, at least, it looked like that was everything I was going to get from Remedy Slim. A couple of hours later, I called the phone number she'd given me. It was out of service. It looked like if I was going to speak with her again, it would be on her terms.
Which is always smart if you're dealing in the shady end of things. That's, making sure that everything's on your terms. Always a good thing to do.
So if Remedy was right, 9 was still running. The game was on. But what about Jenny Slater? What the hell happened?
I would say Jenny kind of lost her mind.
Told my friend Aster Nadav about what Remedy Slim had told me. He was shocked.
What the fuck?
I know, right?
No, that's impossible. Jenny would never leave the country without telling anyone.
At that moment, Aster stepped outside and made a phone call. A few minutes later, he was back.
I called her mother.
And?
Your friend was right.
She's not really my friend, but wow.
I asked her if I could fly there and visit, but her mother said Jenny isn't willing to speak with or see anyone at the moment.
Where does her mother live?
Well, if she dug her eyes out with a fruit thingy, she can't see anyone anyhow.
Nottingham.
So essentially the other side of the world.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wait, I thought you said the game was too dangerous that you weren't going to help me look into it.
I'm not.
So what do you call this?
Hey, you called me.
And we'll go ahead and call that good for today's part. Hope you're enjoying it. Everybody be good to each other, be good humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?